Start kare? Hello student, it is class 12th Humanities History chapter from Modern India. The chapter which has a very scoring topics, and it comes in mostly 20 or 22 marks. So do it very thoroughly, and it will go on for a long time, a long topic, the Gandhian era from your third book, that is Modern India. Gandhian era. You know that in India there was colonial rule. East India Company was established in India in 1757 so as to look after the trade of Britishers in India. But you all know that the East India Company took advantage of the weaknesses. There were certain weaknesses at that time in India. And moreover, there was lots of wealth in the country, immense wealth in the country. And the officials of the company became corrupt. And although it was a trading company, but they began to interfere in the matters of the Indian kings. They began to interfere in the matters of Indian administration. So in 1857, there was a revolt. After 100 years, people realized that Britishers are not doing good for the country. And there were certain superstitions that after 100 years, they will go away if we revolt. So unplanned revolt was there in 1857, and revolt failed. Indians failed in that revolt. Britishers won. And from 1858, after the Queen Victoria's proclamation, India became a colony of Britishers. In 1885, Congress was formed, Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress was a platform for the people to fight for independence. There was moderate era from 1885 to 1905, and it was pro-British era. Because moderates were C.N. Banerjee, W.C. Banerjee, A.O. Hume was there to establish the Congress. And the Britishers, you know, they never cared about what resolutions, what petitions they submitted to them different times, because they were pro-British. Because Britishers attended the meetings of the moderates, and Indians were at that time not very clever. They thought that the time will come that Britishers will realize our condition and they will give us independence, certainly. But it was not. Then there was partition of Bengal, a very big step taken by the government, because I told you they were not afraid of moderates. And after the partition of Bengal, on the basis of communalism into East and West Bengal Hindu majority, East Bengal Muslim majority. So there was a partition of the country. Even then moderates wanted to remain moderate, and moderate means that they never wanted to do agitations against the Britishers, correct? So there was rise of the group of Bal Lal Pal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Roy and Bipin Chandra Pal, popularly known as extremists. Extremists. They also never wanted violence, but they at least wanted processions, slogans against the Britishers, Bal Lal Pal, boycott and Swadeshi movements, etc. Meanwhile, in 1914, First World War broke out, and in the First World War, Indians were dragged into the war. Actually, they never wanted to come into the war, but at that time, the situations were such that Indians had to support the Britishers in the World War. And let me tell you that even Britishers were aware that they cannot do anything in the World War until and unless the Indian army support them. So very cleverly, Britishers asked Indians that if you support us in the World War, supporting means giving taxes, if there is price rise, you don't agitate, just pay the prices for the goods, whatever we want. And then there was forced conscription into the army. There was forcibly, villagers were called upon to supply the soldiers. So you do all this, and immediately after the World War, we will assign you Swaraj. This was a promise done to the Indians by the Britishers during the First World War. Now, when the First World War was going on, World War broke out. Indians gave full support, wholehearted support to the Britishers, with the view that it's a matter of a few years or few days, and after that we are going to have Swaraj. In 1915, there was entry of Gandhi. He had come from South Africa by propagating his message of non-violence and truth, that is Satyagraha. In 1915, when he came to India, World War was going on. People were busy in the World War. High prices were there. Forced conscription into the army was there. Villagers were called upon to supply the soldiers, and at the back, the crops failed. There were famines, there were epidemics in the country. Prices doubled between the warriors, doubling. People did all this. People supported all this just because after the World War, they would get Swaraj. Meanwhile, when Gandhi came to India, he saw that there was Hindu-Muslim disunity. Because I told you, when Bengal was partitioned, then in 1906, there was a leader, Muslim leader, Aga Khan. Aga Khan, a great communal leader of Muslims at that time. So immediately he formed the Muslim League. Muslim League means simply Congress was separated from Muslims were separated from the Congress. Congress and Muslim League were separated from each other. Communalism, communal feeling among Muslims. So Aga Khan formed the Muslim League, and Mahatma Gandhi was not happy to see that the two main communities of India are not together, they are separated from each other. From that time, Gandhi had decided to bring the two communities together. And for this, he got the opportunity in the Khilafat movement. Again, another question, what do you mean by the Khilafat movement? First question, explain in which conditions Gandhi came to India. So write down, World War was going on and Gandhi appeared on the Indian politics, took up the leadership of Congress. Then 1916, it was Khilafat movement. Now, what was Khilafat? Actually, Khilafat movement began in Turkey. Khilafat. It began in Turkey. Now, let me tell you, Turkey, Ottoman Empire, about which you have studied in your previous classes also. It was an Ottoman Empire, and Turkey was under the British colonial rule. Okay? And in Turkey, apart from the British rule, there was a person of double importance for the Muslim, that is Khalifa. Khalifa. A person of double importance for the Muslims. He was their spiritual head as well as political head. Spiritual head means that whatever fatwas will be issued, that will be issued by Khalifa. When there will be namaz, when there will be any festival of Muslims, that will be issued by Khalifa only. And he was the leader not only in Turkey but the whole Muslim world. All over, people respected Khalifa a lot. And he was the political head of Turkey, means all the rules were sanctioned, were passed by the Britishers, because I told you it was a British colony. But first of all, Khalifa sanctioned those laws, and then only Muslims followed those laws. Now, see, why Britishers will tolerate all this, that when Turkey is our colony, why Khalifa is so much respected in the country, and why he is taking advantage of his situation. So, World War is going on. I told you, background I have told you, World War is going on because it continued from 1914 to 1918. And we are talking about 1916. So, World War is continued. Turkey had joined the World War against Britain. Very surprising. And it had joined the war in favor of Germany. In favor of Germany against Britishers. Again, attack on Britishers. How could they tolerate all this? That Turkey is our colony, why they are favoring our rival parties? So anyway, Turkey was badly defeated in the First World War by the Britishers. Badly defeated. And there was a rumor that because Britishers have defeated Turkey, there was a rumor that they will end the post of Khalifa immediately, and Turkey will be no more a theocratic country. There are two types of countries, students, theocratic and secular. Theocratic means one religion, like Islamic countries, mostly they are theocratic. European countries are theocratic, Christianity is there. Theocratic. Secular, like India, so many religions exist. So, Turkey will be no more a theocratic country and we will make it a secular country. How could Muslims tolerate it? Muslims were very communal at that time, they could not tolerate all this. So, there was Khilafat movement. And there was another rumor that there will be no post of Khalifa. So, that was a great insult for the Muslims, they could not tolerate it. So, in Turkey, Khilafat movement began. In one line answer, against the ill treatment, ill treatment, bura vyavahar, ill treatment, meted out or given to the Khalifa of Turkey by the Britishers. I told you that he was very well respected by the Muslim world, and when it was a rumor, and it was in fact that there will be no post of Khalifa and Turkey will be no more a theocratic country, they could not tolerate it, and there was a Khilafat movement. Now, Muslims also lived in India, large number of Muslims, then Pakistan was also not formed, large number of Muslims lived in India. So they considered the insult of Khalifa as their insult also. When Khalifa is insulted, we are also insulted. Muslims are actually At that time, we are talking about Muslim. They were a great communal group at that time. In India, Ali brothers, Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali, one mark question. They decided to start Khilafat movement, and anti-Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay, 1916. Anti-Khilafat, that we will support Khalifa and we will oppose the British rule. I told you that Gandhi was seeking an opportunity to bring the two communities together because they were not together. So Gandhi found an opportunity in the Khilafat movement to bring the two communities together. And immediately he said that Hindus are supporting Khilafat movement, Ali brothers, Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali. Actually, Gandhiji visited village to village, many towns with Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali, propagating his ideal that now Hindus and Muslims are united. And this platform was taken advantage by Gandhi, and he gave full support to the Khilafat movement. I told you he was leading Congress, and Congress was a Hindu majority organization at that time. So it was declared that Congress is also with Ali brothers, Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali. So this was about Khilafat movement. Lucknow Pact was signed, and the two communities came together again, and Gandhiji promised them after the Hindu-Muslim unity, that according to him it was established, that he will start a non-cooperation movement after the First World War that will continue from 1920 to 22 AD. And in the non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji told the Muslims of India that it will be a non-cooperation Khilafat movement. Means non-cooperation and Khilafat were combined together. Now question is why? Question is why Gandhiji decided to start non-cooperation Khilafat. Khilafat movement, I told you, to bring Hindu Muslims together so as to support the Muslims, so that if the two communities come together, they can fight better against the British rule, against the colonial rule. There could be a better fighting between them. Is it clear? Now other reasons were why non-cooperation movement started. Other reasons, listen. First of all, I told you that Britishers took advantage of India's position, and they promised Indians that if they support them in the World War, immediately after the war, they will give them Swaraj. After the World War, you know, Britishers were victorious. They had a victory in the World War. They didn't give Swaraj. They had no intention to give Swaraj to the Indians actually. And instead of giving Swaraj to the Indians, they passed Rowlatt Act, about which I will tell you tomorrow. Rowlatt Act. That was again a very humiliating act for the Indians. Because it's the last topic, we will discuss Rowlatt Act tomorrow. So they, instead of giving Swaraj, more repression was done on the Indians. Okay, there were famines, there were epidemics. Millions of people were killed. According to a census of 2021, 12 to 13 million people perished in India, either due to famine or due to epidemic influenza. But Britishers, you know, they were busy in celebrating their victory. There was Delhi Darbar celebrated in Delhi, and many European friends were invited by the Britishers to honor them because they had supported the Britishers in the World War. And instead of looking after the Indians, that how they are suffering and how they supported them wholeheartedly in the World War, they were enjoying their victory, and Indians were dying of hunger, epidemic, etc. So there was lots of chaos. And Satyagraha was taught by Gandhi to the Indians, and on the basis of Satyagraha, Gandhiji decided to launch, L-A-U-N-C-H, launch the non-cooperation movement. Before going to the non-cooperation movement, I must tell you something about Satyagraha, very summarized way. Satyagraha means a struggle based on truth, a struggle based on justice. And this was done by Gandhi in South Africa before he came to India. According to this struggle, instead of forcing the oppressor to know what is right or what is wrong, instead of using force, making the oppressor to see what is right or wrong, let him or her realize himself what is right or wrong. You must have seen the movie Munna Bhai, in which there was a person used to split in front of his house. Then again and again, daily he is splitting, and Munna Bhai tells him that don't do anything, just clean it and give a good smile to him. It's very difficult to do. But he did it, and finally in 7th or 8th day, the person, he stopped spitting over there. Satyagraha means not forcing the oppressor to see what is right and what is wrong. Instead, let his conscience means antaratma, conscience know what is right and what is wrong. And according to Gandhi, a satyagrahi can win battle without being aggressive or without being vigilant. And many people called Gandhi that he is coward and because he cannot fight, so he is talking about satyagraha. But actually, satyagraha was not an active resistance, it is a passive resistance. Means we are not using force, we are not using any other violent method, but we are just making the person realize about what he or she is doing bad for the society or for any individual, what wrong they are doing. So without being aggressive, let the oppressor know what is right and what is wrong. 3 examples regarding this topic. 1916, Gandhiji went to Champaran. Indigo planters were very unhappy. Indigo planters were Britishers, they were heads, and Indians were working as workers over there as laborers. Their working conditions were not good. So Gandhiji went to Champaran, that is Bihar. This is your map work. And through Satyagraha, he made the plantation owners to work in the welfare of the workers. Then again in 1917, Gandhiji was asked to come to Kheda district of Gujarat. That is, these peasants were hit by crop failure and they could not pay the taxes. Kheda, Gujarat, map work. Gandhiji went to Kheda and he relaxed their conditions and asked the Britishers to relax their taxes. And finally, in 1917 again, Ahmedabad, cotton mill workers. 1917-18, cotton mill workers. Gandhiji did Satyagraha. So tomorrow we will begin with non-cooperation movement. That is the end of my lecture today. And we will start with non-cooperation, go through it, and we will meet tomorrow again. Thank you, students.